Good afternoon. Zimbabwe's President Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa is running a criminal syndicate. Him and his friend Dagure are running a complex web of companies whose sole purpose is to siphon public wealth into their own private hands. His purpose or his job is to wake up in the morning to do his job at the State House is to protect not the interests of the citizens of Zimbabwe, but the interests of his mafia bosses. You see, the president is running multiple cartels at the same time, with different players with him as a shareholder in all of those cartels. Some of them are run by Daguri, some white people, foreigners, some Indians that we do not even know about because they are careful enough to be secretive, more careful than Daguri, and they are connected enough not to be investigated by US authorities. It's easy to target Daguri, but it's hard to target some Europeans who are connected with some very powerful people. Even the center won't touch those ones. These criminal syndicates in Zimbabwe that are connected with Washington and Buckingham Palace, and they are backing Idi Mnangagwa's rule because there's criminal activities going on. The symbiotic relationship that the Zimbabwean president has with the criminal elements of the British Empire and even deep in the Washington deep state is alarming, and it's something that will make an ordinary Zimbabwean look so hopeless as to say, where do we run to? Our own leader who runs the military, the intelligence and the police already, you cannot overpower those organizations as ordinary citizens. And even if you were to co-opt those organizations, they too have to deal with bigger armies around the world that are Mnangagwa's friends who have used Zimbabwe as a laundromat. You see, corrupt politicians around the world have turned Zimbabwe, the sovereign state, into their own money laundering scheme. Oh yes, I've said it. It's politicians, people. Politicians in Washington, politicians in London, politicians in Brussels who are busy, with corrupt activities around the world, whether in their countries and in other countries, and they use our state and they use our president so that he will help them to do money laundering and all sorts of nefarious things. That is why Idi Mnangagwa is sitting pretty. Criminals in the United Nations will protect him. Criminals inside the White House in Washington will protect Idi Mnangagwa. Even if Joe Biden will put on Magnitsky sanctions on Mnangagwa. But Mnangagwa, he knows he has got friends inside Washington. He has got friends inside the Pentagon. He has got friends inside King Charles Castle. So why must he be afraid? Who am I? Or just a useless waiter, a foreigner in a foreign land. I, Ngobani, and the people that follow me on this channel. Who are we really to take over? Who are we really to think that we can touch Idi Mnangagwa, who is protected by the British and the Americans, who have got powerful connections and who are holding levers of power, people whom the United Nations is even afraid of, and who is you and I to think that we can remove Idi Mnangagwa from power and usher in a Zimbabwe that is successful, that is just. Our right to development as citizens of Zimbabwe has been denied to us by these corrupt politicians. The swamp in Washington that Donald Trump has been seeking to eradicate. It is true. The Century produced a report about Mnangagwa and Dagure's dealings. There has been numerous evidences of human rights abuses. Even the US government acknowledges that. Even the Europeans have acknowledged that for years, and it is well documented. But tell me, why is it that nobody in the international community is bothered by the travesty of the Zimbabwe situation? I will tell you, it is because the politicians that run the international political system are part of the deal. They are part of the dirty, demonic, satanic, devious deal of keeping a despot in power so that the citizens of Zimbabwe will never see freedom, so that we black Zimbabweans can be abused in foreign lands and exploited as cheap labor with limited rights, severely limited rights, whilst at the same time they are siphoning our mineral wealth for cents on the dollar and making iPhones and Tesla models. Here's the thing: if you have got an iPhone, you are guilty as charged. You are guilty because you are benefiting for the oppression of the Zimbabwean people. If you think you are getting involved in these new technologies, electric vehicles, Elon Musk supporter, buying these models, when you are actually getting that lithium battery from an oppressed nation of Zimbabwe. And should I even add Congo on top of that? So the criminal activity not only is supported in Washington, but it is also supported in Wall Street. Not only there, it is also supported in Silicon Valley. Here's the thing: who are we, all weak Zimbabweans, who think we can take on the connected politicians in Washington, the connected bankers in New York, and the super duper entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley who have got their friends in the city of London, the financial heartbeat of the world? And you think that you and I, with our small little YouTube channel, can really upset the global mafia? Now, I'm saying this to paint a picture to you as to what are we really dealing with here. We are dealing with the cream of the cream, the top of the top, the world's best. Okay, the crop of the world has decided that Zimbabwe is going to be a pariah. It was a decision that it's going to be a pariah, so we'll make sure that the president there is a thief. Okay. The global leaders, if they want to, tomorrow morning it will be out of power and they'll put in a guy who is good at his job, who wants to develop Zimbabwe. But as I told you, it's not about you and I. Okay, we don't have any say in it. Okay, there is no democracy. By the way, there is no democracy anywhere. There's not even democracy. Even in USA, there is no democracy. It's something that appears like a democracy, but there's no democracy anywhere in the world. There are people who rule us, the people who make decisions. And those people have made decisions that our leader is Idi Mnangagwa. And those people know very well what Idi Mnangagwa is, but they keep him there because he satisfies their purposes. Unless and until they change their mind, Mnangagwa will still be in power. Okay. He will still be, he knows it. That's why they keep on stealing with Akure, because they're like, who is gonna remove me? Who? As long as the global mafia is still happy with him there, stealing. Because remember, when it steals from Zimbabwe in these dark areas, they steal the minerals. Okay. Now, when they make that money, do you know how the globalists benefit? Because that money is banked overseas. It's banked in London. The economy of the United Kingdom is successful because of Zimbabwean money. The money that was denied you and I in order to develop our nation, it goes to develop the city of London. It goes to develop Switzerland. All right, it's developing Mauritius. It's contributing to the Dow Jones Industrial Average going up, and whilst we ordinary Zimbabweans are going down. So what makes you think that the big bankers in New York would want Idi Mnangagwa to be out of power? Unless if the political climate and dynamics change. And that change has got nothing to do with you and I. Because we are nothing in the matrix, you and I. We are absolutely nothing. We've got no power at all. Except the power that the Lord gives us. But this is how the Lord works. In fact, nobody knows how the Lord works. But one way the Lord will work is to change the atmosphere in New York and in Washington. Something that you and I have got no control over. You hear what I'm saying? What you and I can do is just keep on praying. If those New Yorkers and those Washington politicians keep oppressing us and God says no, and he changes the atmosphere, he will force them. The atmosphere will force them to no longer want eating. Whatever change it is, that is the glory of God. That's why the Lord says, put your trust in him and not in your own power. Because in your own power, ordinary Zimbabwean, there's absolutely nothing that you can do except to pray and ask God to deal with the swamp, even the swamp in Washington, that is denying us the right to development. I'm not talking about sanctions. Sanctions are fine. I support the sanctions. There must be sanctions on Edim Nangako. But I'm talking about the broader implications of Zimbabwe's relations with the world order. Our relationship as a nation is that of Big Brother crushing us down so that we can be cheap labor, so that we can take passports and go to the United Kingdom to do nurse aid and only be allowed to do jobs in America to be their servants, but never to be the masters of our own destiny, never to start multinationals and be leaders in different fields. That is how Zimbabwe has been betrayed by the global mafia. My name is Ngobani Zondo, and I'm a prophet of the Most High. I'm not afraid of you or international mafia. You can do whatever it is that you feel like doing, whichever way you think is best for you. Have a great day.